Hey everybody.
Hey!
Well, we're back with another video. It's Easter, and it's definitely a different Easter this year.
hmm
We have a lot going on in the world right now, and it's hard on a lot of people. And we thought it was a good time to talk about that. We uh, we kind of have it hard, here and there, kind of all the time. So we thought we might be able to share you know, some things that could help people deal with this situation. And
Yeah, early on in our marriage, Brent had to quit his job, and we were together 24/7. He basically took care of me. I took care of him too, but I don't have a
mhm,
license and I'm not unable to work, and so he really had to provide in all different aspects. So we know what it's like to have to be together 24/7, um, and it's not easy. We've done it for years, so
yeah, there's a lot of things that are luxuries that people take for granted, like just being able to drive,
mhm.
being able to, um, you know, be responsible for different things because you're physically able to be responsible. And some people know what we're talking about. But now, even like just straight luxuries are gone,
Mhm.
and I think that's kind of a big part of what's hard on people is they're having to kind of um, live a different life that they think isn't normal, but
Mhm.
what's normal? It maybe the way we were living wasn't very normal. Um,
I think so many times we find our purpose in our jobs and outside of the home life, and then when you're in the home, you feel like you don't have a purpose. But we are very big mistaken, because the home is actually like a huge purpose in your life. Raising your children, being I mean, if you're married, that is, and have kids, raising your children and
yeah, it's
being a spouse, it's a huge deal.
mm, it's I mean, it's one of the things that's most important, and so that's why it's
hmm
so painful to hear people talking about how they can't stay at home with their families. That's just not how it should be. And it is hard, for me, my job is a big part of, what I do and or who I am or whatever, and I've been able to still work, but I have to kind of put that to the side and remember that I'm a man first, then I'm a husband, and then I'm a father, and that's all at home. So your life outside of home just supports your home life, but it's also been um, good to see, like in neighborhoods, families riding around on bikes and stuff. And I know the weather's nice and people kind of do that anyway, but I don't know. I feel like there's been a little bit more um, pedaling, more families pedaling and kind of
More kids learning how to ride their bikes and
mm,
stuff like that.
having to go outside and do things that and I really bet people are finding out that that's so much more fun than whatever else people get to do, because that's what we do anyway, is just go and ride bikes and stuff, at least me and the kids. uh, but um, but yeah, while you're at home, this is it doesn't have to be a bad thing. Make the best of it if you can. I don't want to make light of anybody's pain. Like uh, a lot of seniors are not going to get to go to prom and graduate and stuff, and even though that's kind of a superficial thing, they might still get to their diploma and all, but that's hard. That's because I didn't get that, so um, that's hard. That's painful, but then then you have some people that are dying and stuff, and not being able to go to funerals and all. So it's really, we definitely don't want to make light of anything, but we don't want to take for granted what we still have, though. So I like to say that, we have to be okay with being okay. You have to, like, realize sometimes that you're actually okay, and which is just food, clothing, and shelter. You don't have to worry about tomorrow if you've got what you need for today. Um, you know, you're okay. It doesn't mean that you're well off. It doesn't mean that everything's going to be all right tomorrow or whatever. But that's not really um, something to worry about. It's definitely you should worry about you know not being aware of the fact that you're okay. I would definitely not want to be bothered and worried when I shouldn't be. So we have to be okay being okay. But yeah, it's still definitely it's tough.
Yeah, I think that being isolated with your spouse can bring on an extra bit of tension or strain sometimes. And you have to learn how to cope with that. I mean, some of us, I guess, are married to our best friends, and still then it can be very, very hard to be with your spouse so much. There's only so much that you can talk about and so much that you can do, but you have to keep everything, I guess, alive. Garden together or whatever, watch a movie together. Make sure that you make time for each other, and then make sure that you make time apart from each other. That's just equally as important, is that, you know, don't just go wander off at the worst time possible, but, you know, be intentional and
Yeah,
say,
know when your spouse is having a little bit of alone time, and maybe you wanted to engage or whatever, but they're reading a book or something, then just say, well, wait, no, it's okay, go read your book. Um, being aware of, oh, you're reading your book because maybe I wasn't paying attention to you or whatever. Just figure it out. Try to understand what's going on, and yeah, it's okay to be at home and someone be reading a book, another person watching a movie, or read a book together, or watch a movie together, or
find contentment and just being there.
The peace can be there if you just understand that you can dwell in it. Um, because peace is really it's such a sweet thing, and if we can have that, then there's nothing else you need. So we have 3 kids, so when we have peace, it's we're pretty aware of it.
Yeah.
And even when there's chaos, we still, we have peace in that, because it's, you just enjoy being alive, and know God's taking care of you, and it's in His hands.
Yeah. Another thing, I'm home a lot, so I have to figure out how to make it work, how to survive off of being home for many days. And I think having a goal for each day has really helped me. If I can, even if it's not a big goal, okay, today my goal is to wash clothes, or today my goal is to.
No, nobody wants that goal. Don't bring that up. Nobody wants that goal.
Today my goal is to do a project I hadn't finished yet. Whatever it is, and even if you don't do it, you're still striving towards getting something done, and you have a goal is so important. And goals can change, but to have that really helps you pass the time.
Definitely, yeah. So we heard a story that kind of we were taken aback a little bit, about and I don't know the situation, so I don't want to think the wrong thing or talk bad about anybody, nothing like that. But kids are all home now, and so a lot of parents are really, it's like a shock to them to have to kind of deal with their kids throughout the day, and it's very hard. Um, but it was this news thing. The news has to have headlines and that kind of stuff, to sell commercials or whatever. So um, this story's about this mom that's now struggling to teach their child how to read, and that is a struggle, but that's your purpose. That's what the parent's supposed to do. That should not be on the news. That's really a duty, or a blessing.
Not
And it's
struggling, yeah, not struggling and teaching their kid to read as if they themselves couldn't read, but it was more of a they had to take time out of their own life, like
they
an
had to parent and had
inconvenience.
to teach their kid how to read, like
Mhm.
they had to,
Yeah.
or something. And I think that and God bless that person. I hope that they get through that and all, because it is hard, but it's kind of a indication of where our society has gotten, where we're dependent on all this infrastructure, um, where we don't have that infrastructure at home, and that's really where, because we see that now. That's what is most important right now is your domicile. Where your domain is, and do you have um, fresh water, heat and air, um, you know, food and that kind of stuff, and healthcare. That's everybody's freaking out about healthcare now, because that's the thing that we're losing, because that's why this is so bad. It consumes all our healthcare, and so it just really should show us what is most important, and I really, um, it bothers me what I know, like some people are having to go through right now, because they were not able to take care of themselves to begin with. And I go and do work in different places and neighborhoods and stuff, and you know I know it's tough, but and I know a lot of them folks are survivors too, so they're doing just fine, but it's hard. It's hard on the kids. It's hard on people that have health problems, and didn't they didn't sign up for what they were already dealing with, or maybe they just kind of were really irresponsible, and because that's kind of how everybody lives anyway, and so now that extra um, you know stuff is really magnified,
Yeah.
and so that's why we have to be there for each other regardless.
Mhm.
Right now, it doesn't matter what your creed is. We need to be there for each other, and I think that's what's happening.
Mhm.
It's really good to see that. But I hope, yeah, I hope we shared something that maybe to help somebody. Just be mindful of how can you spend time with your family. Men, you have to step up, and you might even have to come up with games, or like you know some frivolous superficial thing that you think is practical, and whatever. It's like, no, it's actually very practical to have some little thing that like I've been coming home with just little trinkets, just to stop by the dollar store place, and just grab a couple things. And my goodness, the kids will play with that stuff for days. And I'm not normally someone that's all about buying, the kids. Well, maybe I am. I guess I kind of am. But yeah, just little things like that. And I try to have little inside jokes with the kids and stuff. And I try to remember when I come home that my wife has definitely been carrying the weight, and so and sometimes that's all I could do is just plop down on the couch and let the kids plop down on top of me. But that's just what I have to do. So um, and then I'm thankful for that. That's not a bad thing, you know. It kind of hurts, and it's physically draining, and you know it's not easy. But you know, my kids are healthy, and you know we have a place to live. If you have any place to go, and you have a neighbor you can talk to, that you know some neighbors you can't talk to. That's a tough situation. But maybe y'all should start talking now.
Right. And then something I was thinking of that we might not have thought about was the news. We have to turn it off sometimes. Just turn it off and live life with your family in your
My
homes.
goodness, yes.
And just shut all of that noise off because
People just
that can really bring you down.
they're just there to give you news, and then after that is they're selling commercials. They really are just there for that's a job, and it's not just information. There's a lot of good information there that we need to know, but just get the information, glean some facts, you know, from the talking heads and the ticker tape that's on the bottom of the screen. Just get you know a little bit of understanding of what's going on, and then just turn it off. It's because I have to, you know, I even catch myself kind of like starting to go, oh, what's is is this and that person that, and it's like, no, that's they're just starting to, you know, draw you in, and no, turn that stuff off. And you know, especially with this day and age, there's plenty of media, plenty of things that you can get into, especially with your, you know, right now with your kids as far as education goes. I like in my free time to look for videos that my kids could learn from. Go through different videos, reading, writing, and arithmetic. I found a video for my son for his speech today that was actually just a practice for his teacher that he'll be talking to tomorrow online, and he started to actually get into the video, and so I was like, okay, let me walk away, and he's, you know, was into it for a while, and we actually I went to mom and suspended his punishment, you know, from being grounded from video games a little bit. I was his advocate, and I hope he appreciated that. I think he did, and but then I also used that to set him up, you know, for his online thing. You know, he has an awesome teacher, you know, and he, you know, he has a little bit of a delay, and you know, there's nothing wrong if, you know, like we were talking about the person before who had to teach their kid to read, you know, but sometimes it's not that easy, you know. So that's why we have to be, you know, there for each other, and this, you know, and be thankful that we have the internet now. Oh my goodness. But but yeah, you know, be engaged with your kids and plan things. Think ahead.
Yeah, something that I really, really appreciate about Brent is um, he makes certain things that the kids enjoy a priority. Just like you make the priority to charge up your cell phone, or you make it a priority to lock your doors. He does the same thing for the kids, and I try to as well. We have some, what are those cars? The Power Wheels
Power wheel.
outside. And
So we got lucky there. Yeah.
he makes sure their Power Wheels are charged up most of the time. I mean, it's very
There's
rarely
nothing like the kid
they're
jumping
not.
in a dead Power Wheel. Just
Right.
guys, come on, get, you know, get those things charged up, and
Right.
you know they're really an amazing thing. EVs, it's the future. So we're starting them young, and well, I'm already having to repair them, so you have to learn how to fix them too. But you know,
But like making them a priority, and you know what's important to them should be important to you as well. And
because you know, a lot of times people think I'm just a big goofball, I guess, and I'm a big kid, and you know, I guess I am, but that's just because I find, you know, kids to be the most important thing, you know, there is. So that's, I don't really care what, some adults think about me. And, because I would rather the kids, you know, being more engaged with me than a lot of adults. I probably should work harder with some adults. But, um, yeah, definitely prioritize the kids and get on their level and, do what it's not that hard really. You can figure it out, guys. You can do this. It's not it's not just this mystical, profound, you know, deep thing like unlocking the mystery of a child. I mean that's a thing, but also you just find out what they like, pay attention. Um, you know, we are big on letting our kids kind of work stuff out on their own, but we also know that we have to jump in sometimes, and you know, no punching in the face, but no hitting with weapons. But other than that, it's maybe mama gets involved a little more, but no, they work it out sometimes. They're getting better at that, and that's something really cool to see. Um, but we also remember that they have to know that they're siblings, and they're going to be that for forever, and they have to figure it out. And oh my gosh, it's such a beautiful thing to see them, work out all those politics, and there not be any blood,
Mm-hmm.
no hospital visits. Gosh, we know
We do
people
not need hospital
that
visits right
yes,
now.
but people have had to go to the hospital. The kids have had to have surgeries and stuff through all this, and it's just some fluke thing. It happens, and oh goodness, that's yeah. We try to yeah, stay safe, but we also don't live in a spirit of fear. Um, so that's but it's been a good uh, it's been good seeing people saying, look, we need to still live life, and then you have other people saying, yes, but we need to be safe. And it just so quickly you started to see level heads, talking about let's balance this out, because that's really what we need to do. We don't need to point fingers first. Just to save that for when we get past this. Right now it's you know taking care of each other, and
What's important?
because this has never happened before. So well, again for us, it's kind of some of this stuff is normal.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
I follow a lot of different marital things on Facebook or on social media. Period, and something that they're talking about, and they're trying to be proactive about is I think they called it corona-induced divorces, and they're afraid that after all of this kind of passes, we're going to see an increase in divorce. And I'm just praying against that, and that people can actually surprise everyone and like repair marriages. How about a repair induced thing from
and look at how you were
coronavirus?
living
Mm-hmm.
and
Re-examine
change,
life. Mm-hmm.
or grow really. Um, change doesn't necessarily mean growth, but growth does mean change. People don't like change, but I don't think are going to like what happens if you're going down the wrong path. You're going to change could get you to a really good place, of growth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so, yeah, I think, okay, well, I think that was pretty good. So,
Yeah.
well, we're praying for everybody. Pray for us, and, stay strong and take care of each other. Look for your peace, and be okay being okay. And yeah, take care of your neighbor.
Yep.
And
That's important.
we'll see y'all next time.